don't just go and spend money and get some headshots. Don't just go throw your money at. Find out where you can go to make some smart choices for a career, because this is a career. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
When did you know you wanted to act?
Oh, I think I was 8 years old, and I was doing shows for the neighborhood in my garage.
What was the first moment that you knew you had the bug?
I don't know. I mean, nobody supported that, in my family. Nobody was, thought, oh, she should be an actress. It wasn't like that. But as soon as I hit high school and did a play, that was it. I was home. Knew that was going to be my life. And of course, my parents were like, it's a phase. It's a phase.
Get over it. Not.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
terrible. So you go to college, you leave, you come back to Los Angeles?
Right. At the time, this was a long time ago, but we were, the experimental theater, Grotowski, Schechner, all that was what was happening. So I was working with a company in Berkeley called the Olive Company, and we were doing experimental theater, Grotowski based. I did that for about 2 years, and then I moved to LA, and I've been here ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got out here, you started pursuing your acting. What
Yes.
got you into commercials?
It's. I mean, when you come from college and you do theater only, that's what you think is acting. Theater that's it. So commercials to me were kind of a taboo thing. But and they told me I was not a commercial type.
Oh
So,
my
I know.
gosh.
I've done over 400. So
And we'll put a pause in that. Not only has she done 400, but 50 of the commercials she's done have won Clios.
yes.
That's 50. Now I'm not talking about 2 or 3. I'm talking about 50
Yeah,
commercials
yeah.
that she has been in, has gotten Clio awards.
Yeah,
Okay, we
yeah.
can go back to.
So I took a class with Carolyn Berry, a commercial class with Carolyn Berry, and that just turned my whole. Commercials are acting. It's the same skills. It's the same tools. It's just 30 seconds or maybe a minute, but usually 30 seconds of acting time. So, but the jobs themselves, the auditions were all to me using the same skills that I learned from college. And so yeah, I love doing commercials.
Now, when you started doing commercials, was there a time where you were struggling, or did it just like start taking off for you?
Well, I signed with a great agent, Commercials Unlimited, and they took me on. I went out. I didn't book. I think it was 3 or 6 months. I can't remember. And they sent me the letter that we're dropping you.
Oh.
And I was like devastated. And I did something that I don't know if I would do it today. I called them and I said, hey, give me another chance. I feel like I know what I'm doing now. I had just taken this class. And it was Judy Rich. And she said, all right, we'll give you another 3 months. And I think the next job I went on, I booked.
Wow.
And I have been with her ever since. She is still my commercial
Wow.
agent today.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
a wonderful story.
Yeah, it is a great
That
story.
is, because first of all, agents and actors, you always hear the
No,
actors
I
say,
know.
I need to get another agent.
I love them. I love her and I love her partners. So,
Oh.
yeah, I'm very, very happy there. Funny story, because I remember when I booked it was a national. Back then, it was pretty much all nationals, was really all they made. But it was a national, and so I called her and I said, so how much do you think I'll make on this? And she said, let me give you some sage advice. All you can ever count on is the session fee, which is, what they pay you to shoot the job the day of the shoot. And I was like, what do you mean? This is a national. And sure enough, that particular job did not air well at all. But it ended up airing an outtake from it. I'm going to tell the story if you don't mind.
Oh, please.
So this, I played Eve, and my cohort, David Landsberg, played Adam. It was in a nudist colony. This is my first commercial, nudist colony, so I don't have anything on. And so the whole thing was for Corning eyeglasses. You never have to take them off. They change from dark to light. So there was an outtake of us walking down this nature path towards the end of the spot, and there was a moose in the middle of the path, which was covering our private parts. So one take, the moose just walked away. They shot you. So there's our little, our little buttocks is, walking along the path. Well, that outtake they used for 3 years on Bloopers and Bleepers show.
Oh, wow.
So that's about how much money I made on that spot.
Wow.
But then went on to, book many, many more. And
Was your first job a commercial?
that was a commercial.
That was your very first job?
Oh, no. I had done some films, some low-budget films and stuff, plays, theater, equity. I think right after I booked the commercial, I booked Three's Company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was a big show, people.
Yeah, it was a big
For those of you babies,
John
that was
Ritter.
a big show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it started happening, I would say, in the 80s for me, working and booking and making a living.
You now have an acting school.
Yes, I opened it about 6 or 7 years ago. It's called Keep It Real Acting Studios. I was teaching commercials. I've been teaching commercials for about, I would say, close to 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Was teaching for some other people, Carolyn Berry, actually, and decided to do it on my own. So I love teaching it. I feel like I have a really solid technique. I wrote a book called I Booked It. Yeah.
So every actor who's interested in getting into commercial, every actor who's getting ready to pursue commercials, you must get this book. I Booked It by Judy Kain. Not only can you get it in hard copy, but you could also get it in Kindle, which I have.
Ah, very good.
Yes,
Yes, you
yes.
can. This is it's not only for somebody just starting out. It's a great book for people who
Anybody.
who are doing commercials, maybe not booking as much as they want to. But yeah, it's basically it's very easy to read. It's very practical. And so anyway, it's what I teach. It's what I teach in
And
the
it's
classes.
a great resource book to have in your acting library.
Yes.
Just a great resource book.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a studio. We have improv. We have kids classes. We have theatrical. We have branding classes.
You also have Spanish classes.
We have Spanish
That's right.
classes. We do. I also teach a class called The Business of Acting. You're the CEO of your own career, which is now a online course and a book.
So let's talk about that,
Yeah.
because I'm a big believer that you are the CEO of your career, and
Absolutely.
that you can't afford to just specialize in acting. You have to know the business aspect.
And it's unfortunate because we're creative people. We are whatever, if it's the right or the left, I can never remember which part of the brain is the creative part. But there is a certain amount of business that you, in order to proceed, unless you're going to get your publicist and a team on board to do that for you, you need to be the CEO of your own career.
But even if you have that kind of team behind you, you still have to know everything.
Absolutely. One, because people don't care about you as much as you care about you. No one cares about my career as much as I do. I need to be responsible. I get 90% of the commission. My agent gets 10. So I should be doing 90% of the work. And I believe that I can make my agent's job, and thus my job, a lot easier by promoting, marketing, making sure that my relationships with casting people, directors, producers, other actors is intact and good.
So let's talk about relationships, because you mentioned casting directors, agents. Let's stop right there.
Okay.
Let's talk about building relationships with those two groups.
Okay.
Guess what? I've got this fabulous little bundle just for you, because you are a fabulous actor. I got it for you. So what do I got for you? Let me tell you what I got for you. I got the PR cheat sheet, which every actor needs. You need to know how to do your own PR until you get that job where you can pay for a PR person. Then I have the 12-step audition. That's another cheat sheet. You know, sometimes you get freaked out at auditions and you don't know what to do. Well, my 12-step audition cheat sheet will help you and guarantee that you will slam your audition every time. And the third thing I got for you is the casting sites. I have a list of casting sites so you can go and just submit yourself for that next big part. How does that sound? It sounds good, doesn't it?
One, I want as many casting people to know who I am so that when my agent picks up the phone or submits me online, which is all they do now, that they are familiar with me. So I try to do the advertising rule of 7. I try to get my face or my name in front of them 7 times, and then they actually believe they know me. So I'm very big on social media. I try to friend or communicate on all the platforms with as many people in the industry as I possibly can. I'm not so much a horn tooter as I congratulate people, try to have dialogues about things that we have in common so that I'm, viewed as a real person and I have some kind of a relationship with them. I send stuff out. I do drop-bys. Remember when we used to?
Yes.
Remember we used to do that?
All the time. And I still think you should do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's
I think
only
you want to
face to
people
face.
to see you. Yes.
Yes, because the auditions, they're not every day. And if they are, it's what I mean. Sometimes you leave the audition and you feel so good, but it's like I want to do more. There's always offices around the casting office that you go to for the audition. Pop in, drop off a headshot.
Now, question on drop-ins and dropping stuff off, because when we were starting,
Right.
when we were doing, our rounds, we used to have days of the week that we would pick, like, okay, we're going to go hit Warner Brothers this week. We're going to go hit Paramount. And what I used to do with Jason Stewart
Yes.
was we would not only pick the studio, but we would also lunch there.
Yes,
we would
absolutely.
go and eat at the dining room
Oh,
so
one
we
of-
could see everybody and act like
Absolutely.
we belonged there.
Act like you're working that
That's
day.
right.
No, absolutely.
And so so because of 9/11, it's made it hard
Yes.
to be able to just go to the lots.
Yes.
So what suggestions do you have for actors?
Well, I had an audition at Warner Brothers just the other day. So I'm on the lot. No one tells you have to clock out at a certain time, right?
Right.
So that whole lot is available to me for as long as I need, right? So so I popped into a couple of offices and just, usually what I do is I have something to offer.
Can
Hey,
you say that again? Say that one more time, because that's so good.
I have something to offer them, and so that's what I try to wrap my brain around. So I'm not bothering them, I'm not pestering them, I'm giving them something of value, i.e., hey, I just signed with this new manager. Hey, I have a new headshot, or I have a new look. Or even, I'm on this show coming up, or watch me on this, or here's some information. There's also my new little thing that I love to do. There's wacky days of the week, wacky national holidays. So, I look through it every month. National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, or what was the other one? Rice Krispie Treat Day. I go with food
The
a lot.
donuts and yes.
There's a myriad of them. So you bring there was a cashew day, which I capitalized on because you could get those little bags of cashews that I would staple to my headshot, and
See, that's you're my sister in that, because I'm a big believer that you always come to offices with food.
yeah, well, sure, absolutely.
That is, to me, that's the biggest contribution you can make to any office, other than bringing your picture and resume.
Right.
To bring them something because it says to them you cared about them.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just about you,
Right.
but it is also about them.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Coffee.
yes.
You know, whatever. You know, I brought my agents the other day, and it was, you know, just a little basket. Oh, it was called the Wellness Basket, and it had vitamin C. It had echinacea. It had.
That is so good.
Everybody's getting sick.
No, but
Little
that's
tissues,
lovely.
some hand sanitizer.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's just, and it. I think I got it at the 99-cent store. Don't tell my agent that. But yeah, I mean, it didn't. It's not about the cost. It's
And for
just,
those actors that live in Los Angeles, the 99-cent store is your friend.
yes,
You can put an incredible basket of goodies together for a casting director or an agent that you're really trying to solicit
Yep.
to get them to be on your team. That makes such a difference. I love that. Well, I'm gonna steal that one.
Oh,
'cause
no, it's
I didn't
good.
think about that.
It's
I
open.
didn't think about that. That's a good one.
It's
The
really good.
wellness thing in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And in the summer you can also do like suntan.
Yeah, sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. I didn't.
Yeah. No,
But
no.
yeah, because
But
that.
see, that to me makes the business part of it fun.
But is that
and
old
creative.
school? Is that old school? Because
I don't know anybody that I've never dropped anything off where someone was like, this
No,
is
no.
so-
I mean the thinking, because I know when we were starting that was pretty common.
yeah, because we were really
to just-
we had to really dig out a career. That's how
That's
I.
what it is. Okay,
We really had to.
that's what it is.
And I do think it's old school in that a lot of the students that I teach now feel like it should just come to them, that their career should just flow in. And God bless you. I don't know. That is not my experience.
And thank you cards. What
I'm a big thank you card person. I don't thank anybody for an audition. That I think is too. Can I swear?
No, yeah.
Ass kissy.
Okay.
It's too much. But what I like to do is say something like, "Hey, the guy Bob who ran camera, or your casting assistant, was so helpful to me. You know, and I just love the way you run your office. You know, something like that." Which is again a compliment to the casting director. It also, you know, I slip my card in, my photo in, so I am pushing my photo
soft sell.
soft sell,
Mhm.
but I'm really congratulating them on something.
So I want to talk about
Okay.
a couple of points
Yeah.
that actors should always take into the room. You know, a couple of things they should take into the audition process.
Okay. I created an app, which I use myself. I was using it, you know, on a piece of paper, and I thought I should really have this on my phone, which breaks down the script with just the basic questions. Who am I talking to? And I find that in classes, because I teach a callback class, people get nervous when they're in front of when the stakes are high. So if you get in there, yeah, you're nervous, you prepared, you practiced, you did your choices, but you get in there and everything just goes out the window. If you can just ground yourself after you say your name, "Hi, I'm Judy Kain," then just ground yourself. Put Lydia there before you speak. Just ground yourself, see her. You know how you talk to Lydia, right? And then the whatever dialogue you have comes out. That to me is the most important moment, right before you speak, that connection.
So what is the app so we can all get it?
It's called Commercial Worksheet. It's on Google, it's on Apple, and what's the other one? Android. Thank you. Yeah, Commercial Worksheet. Super easy to use. You can save it and then pull it back up when you have your callback.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Get that app. I'm a big believer. I didn't even think of that, but I, on a Post-it note, I have 12 points that I want to hit in an audition.
Oh, perfect.
And I have it in my wallet, so I can't go anywhere without my wallet.
Right.
So I always have it. I pull it out. I just go back and go, okay, who am I? What do I want? how, you know,
Yes.
who is this person? How are they affecting me?
Yes.
Where am I?
Yes.
You know, what's the location? Have I been here before? How does that affect me?
Right.
And
what's my point of view? That's the other
oh,
one.
I like that. What's my point of view?
In other words, how do I feel? I find that actors approach commercials. I don't know why. They get this idea that commercials you have to be perky and happy. Are you watching commercials? Because not everybody's perky and happy in commercials anymore. It's not necessarily the tone. Very real, very lifelike, just like a slice of life. Yes, maybe they have a resolution or a solution at the end, but not everybody's happy. In fact, I made my living. I was the gal who never had the right product. I was the brand X person. I was never using the right product. So that's how I really got started, was a jaded and bitter. That was
That's so funny.
So, yeah.
Okay, so keepitrealacting.com. Go to that for her to see all the classes. And I'm telling you, I was blown away when I saw her website. I want to talk about, because you're one of the few schools that actually teaches Spanish classes.
Yes.
What's the difference between me taking an English commercial class and a Spanish commercial class?
Well, obviously, the instructor speaks Spanish, and the copy is done. The copy is Spanish. So the caveat, or the requirement in order to do commercials in Spanish, is you have to be fluent. And there's a lot of actors out there who say they're fluent, or they're conversational Spanish, which I don't understand. I think that means I don't really speak it.
Well, I'm that person, and that is I have just enough to get through the stuff.
Okay.
But I cannot hold an entire conversation with you in Spanish and let it flow.
Okay.
I have to think, because Spanish is not my first language.
Right.
And the problem, and I had this problem when I first started, so I didn't do commercials because they would only send me out for Spanish stuff, and I couldn't speak Spanish. And it's not like today where it's multicultural,
Right.
and you don't have to speak a
Yes.
language. But back then it was really about, you had to speak Spanish, and you had to
Right.
be fluent, and you had to not have an accent. That, you know, there were a lot
Right.
of
There's a lot of caveats.
so I was not good, but I could do TV Spanish, where, you know, if I booked a job, a film or a TV show, there really is not a lot of dialogue that they make you do in Spanish, because the fact that it's English speaking.
Right.
So they don't want to subtitle it.
Right.
So
Just a little here and there.
That's Spanish. That's TV Spanish.
I see.
That's the difference.
Okay.
But I thought it was very exciting, because I just saw that a month ago that you taught that.
Yes. Well, I don't teach it.
No, but I mean, but that your school teaches it, and I
Absolutely,
think
yeah.
it is so important. Had I had that
Mm-hmm.
to look forward to when I started, my outlook on Spanish commercials could have been different,
Right.
because I would have gone, oh, I could actually go somewhere and really work on
Well,
this.
nothing's stopping you from
Oh
doing
no,
it now.
no, I know. I don't really care about it now. But I'm just saying. But and maybe I will. But that was that back then it brought shame to
Yeah.
me, because
Right.
people are expecting you to deliver this, and
Right.
you didn't get the memo that you were supposed to deliver it.
Right.
And they wouldn't send you on regular commercials.
Oh, I see.
So
But
you
see,
didn't
now
have the option.
ethnically
Yes.
diverse and ethnically ambiguous is the hot ticket. So for English speaking, Spanish speaking, for anything, it's the hot ticket. To just have sort of a look that's like, what is she? Where's she from? You know, that's attractive. Us poor
I'm so
white
happy.
gals, we're screwed.
So happy we're finally in
Yes,
vogue.
you are in vogue for sure.
Finally, for a week, we'll be in vogue.
Yes, absolutely.
So, going to your school,
Yeah.
keepitrealacting.com.
Yes.
What I am impressed with is not only that you have commercials, you have improv, you have acting, You have the Spanish classes, and you have children and youth
kids.
classes.
That's going on right now.
Love that.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that it's all in one house.
Yes.
What made you want to do that?
I think Francine Selkirk really inspired me. I mean, she is a casting director and was a friend of mine as well. And she really saw where people needed training. She was the one who encouraged me to do a senior class for seniors. And I do, once a month, I do a free seniors class. And I love these people. So, everybody needs training, and everybody's training is usually using the same techniques, but there's, for seniors, they need to usually deliver the copy a little faster. For kids, they need to slow down. For kids, they need to feel that they can have fun up there. So there's different certain adjustments for each person. That's why you break the classes into specific niches for each group. So I love coming up with new ideas for classes too. I'm like, oh, we should do a class for this. Marketing, can be challenging, but we haven't really had an issue. I have a pretty good base of people, and you just let people know you have it, and then boom.
That's my next question.
Yes.
Let's talk about your people, your teachers.
Amazing. And the way I find a teacher is, one, they have to be working in the business. To me, that's very important. I don't want them to have been I don't want them to have a career that maybe didn't make it and now they're just teaching. I want them to be currently working so that they have the pulse on what is currently happening. They have to be passionate about acting. Because that translates in the teaching. And then, we test them out. We see how they do with a mock class. And if people walk away and they're excited, they're a good teacher.
And so your classes are they like a 4-week class, 6-week ongoing?
Everything's different. Everything
Okay.
has a different, time. Improv's longer. We have an ongoing scene study and technique class that's, it never ends. We have 6-week commercial classes. We also have a 4-week callback class. So every class is different. Yeah.
And your I want to do Spanish because we have a lot of
absolutely.
Spanish
Yes.
actors. How long is that class?
It's 4 weeks.
Okay.
It's an intensive. Some people take it multiple times because we switch up the copy, but some people want to do it, twice.
Oh, okay.
We have somebody come in and we send it to a casting director at the end, but it's good. It really, because the class is, English, Spanish, it really forces you to almost submerge into Spanish. And then, what is required? She's really good. She works in both markets, and so she's...
Who teaches?
Soledad Campos.
Okay. Soledad Campos has a great class at Keep It Real Acting, so you better take a class with her because you need it. Like I need it. We both should go and take it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and she's super fun and supportive as well. And that's the other thing. I don't want teachers or anybody at the studio who is mean. It's just life's too short.
Yeah, and it's and too hard to have a
No.
teacher who's gonna.
Yeah, I want support. I am honest, and the teachers are all honest with people, but ultimately, in a way that will help them, buoy them up, move them up, increase their technique skills, not crush them.
What classes do you teach specifically?
I teach part of the A to Z, which is our basic commercial class, and I teach the advanced callback class, which is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the business of acting.
Okay. So
and the not such as pretty.
go ahead. And the what? And the what?
It's called Not Just a Pretty Face. It's a class for models.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Judy Kain teaches everything. I love her. That's why she's my friend.
Oh my God.
She teaches everything. Like Common Sense Mamita. She does everything.
Yeah. Well, I love it.
Love that.
Thank you.
what I also love about you teaching is that you are a working actor, that you work.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
It is. It is because I literally can come from an audition that day, bring that experience or whatever happened to the class, and help them with that. Tell them. I'm not always saying, "Hey, I mastered this." Sometimes I say, I messed up today. Or this happened today, and I didn't know what to do. Or I'll throw that into the mix for them to work on and go, what would you do in this situation? Because they're always coming to me going, I had this audition, I did this, and I did this, and we talk about it. Trying to find a way for them to navigate, because it's always going to be something you don't expect, right?
Absolutely. So, who you are is a person of excellence. So, how do you, first, how do you take that into auditions with you?
I do a couple of little things. One, I mentally, I pretend as if I already have the job and that this is just a formality.
It's good.
But it really helps me. It helps me not get in my head, because up here, in this world, where they're having meetings all the time.
Board meetings.
Board meetings.
Yes.
About me. I can really spiral down. So I do this thing where it's a formality. I mean, we've all gone in and read, done somebody a favor and read and auditioned with somebody else when we already have the part. So that's what I kind of pretend. That's one thing I do. Two, I make a really solid choice, and I go in with that.
Now, what is that? When you say I make a solid choice?
It's really well thought out. I mean, I know what just happened. I know what's making me say the dialogue. I know how I feel. I know my point of view. I've made everything personal. So I go in with that, and then I let them change it or
so you
direct
take
me.
your app,
Yeah,
you go
I
into
do.
your app,
Yeah.
and you hit all those marks. You answer the questions,
Yes.
and you then go into the room.
Yes, I am well prepared. And I like to think of it as I am well prepared with what I do best. What I do best is I use my own experience, right? So that's usually how I approach it. The number one complaint of casting directors is they wish actors were more prepared. That's their number one complaint. Just be prepared.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah. And I don't know.
That's your job.
It is. It's your
You're
job.
an actor. You should be prepared. You should know your
Yeah.
work. You should know the material. You should have researched who you're going in to meet, from the casting director to the producer to the
Yes.
writer
Yep.
to the stars of the show. You
Yep.
should know this.
Yeah, because it only helps you. I can't tell you how many times actors have said, well, do I have to have this memorized? And I'm thinking, how can you even begin to work if you aren't off
So that's a
book?
good question. When it comes to a commercial, you get in there and you're given the copy, and then you have to go in and do it. So what should the actor, because some people can't memorize it right
Well,
away.
there's a cue card.
Okay.
There's always a cue card for commercials. So, but
And should they so is that something they could practice at home, or is that something they should come to your class?
you definitely need to practice it. I don't know anybody who has a cue card thing at home that they could
I
practice
might
with. But
get
if
a
you
cue
do,
card now. Let's write that copy and put it up there.
but yeah, but get there early. Don't sign in and grab the copy and go work on it. It's such a
Yes.
we know
Yes.
we used to go out and it would be like 5 a day. We'd have 5 auditions a day. That was that
I
time
never
has
had 5 auditions
no?
a day.
Okay.
I had maybe 2 auditions a week, and
Okay.
it was lovely.
Well, there was a time when I was
Yes.
going 5 auditions a day, and you were just driving around from one to the other, and and we were prepared for all of them. But nowadays, if you have, a couple a week, it's like, yes, So there's no excuse why you should not be prepared. There's no excuse. This is your job. This is your career. This is what um, this is what you want to pursue. And then my pet peeve is if you want to be in commercials, you better watch them. you, you can't fast forward through them and then expect to go in and know what you're doing. I mean, that's absurd, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Why do you want to be in them if you can't watch them?
Amen. Yeah, I think that there is something to being prepared as an actor, and I think we were lucky when we started that we found our tribe early.
Yes. I think, I was, when we were just discussing this, I thought, yes, because we only had Dramalog come out once a week
That's right.
with casting notices.
Right.
If we had access to the
If
breakdowns.
someone was kind enough to share them with us.
Yes, then we had that. But we met a couple times a week and would do tips. What'd you get? Oh, you have an audition over there. Oh, okay, great. And we write them down and then go and submit.
And I think also we had a giving community.
Yes.
It was, how do you, what do you, this will be good for you, this will be good for you. And I think, I don't see that so much now. I
don't even know of any support groups or other than, you could translate it to, there are a lot of groups online, on social media.
It's not the same.
It isn't the same in that it seems like people are only sort of going, hey, I did this, or hey, I did
this. There's not there's not an accountability. I in a previous episode, I talked about the importance of having a acting group, a support group where you share stuff, where you meet once a week and can say, hey, there's a commercial class, there's a headshot photographer who's looking for some people to put in his book. Right. I think the value of that is phenomenal.
Yes. And then you have your people.
Yes.
Because that's how we started, all of us would go around and do rounds. And
that's right. How can we go in?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a good time, but I really believe that no matter what the time or the climate, that you can still find a way to network, find jobs, carve out a career for yourself, and market yourself, and promote.
And be prepared. That if you are looking to do commercials, you should study all those commercials. I have a story of Robert Townsend, who started in New York doing extra, and he wanted to do commercials, and he got an audition for Pepsi. So what he did was, and this was back in the day when there was no VCRs and none of that, he sat and watched TV all day long to see what kind of Pepsi commercials were showing on TV. And then he went and he got bandanas, red, white, and blue, to put on his head for the commercial, and he booked it.
Yeah.
And so it is that commitment to say, I want to do this, so I'm going to look and see what they're doing that I can bring in, because what it says to the client or the buyer is that person gets us.
Yeah.
They really get what we're selling, and so let's give them a shot. And he not only booked that national, but he made over $100,000 on that commercial because he took the time to figure out what Pepsi did.
Right.
So whatever the commercial is, we're lucky today in that we have YouTube.
Oh my
You
gosh,
can watch a bazillion commercials.
Right.
Look at those TV shows and go, where would I fit in?
Yeah.
And then watch that TV show to make sure you are that person that they would cast.
Right.
And know your competition.
Right.
Because one of the things that I learned early was that if they cast Jennifer Beals for something, chances are they would cast me too, because I had that flavor.
Right.
And what I have found, especially with directors, is they like their ensemble. they like that
Sure.
look. They have a certain look that they go for, and as an actor, you should know the directors that like your flavor.
Yes.
You know, it may not, you know.
Well, and how about know what your flavor is?
Oh, yes. Let's go back to
Let's
basics.
go back to that.
Yes.
So many people don't know what their flavor is.
Yes.
And I really like that
Yes.
word because that does really qualify it. You know, what stamp are you putting on when you go in the room? What's your stamp? And just on that same note, okay, watch the show, watch a commercial, stop it and go, okay, I could do that. What is she wearing?
Yes.
Because, oh my God, what they think is the right outfit is so wrong.
And stay away from flip-flops.
Oh,
Unless-
flip-flops, low cut, you know.
Yes. Show
too
your
much
booty.
skin.
Yes.
I'm always very surprised.
Yeah.
And men too, you
Yeah.
know. 40-year-old
I was
men.
talking about men. No.
40-year-old men are wearing hoodies.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're not 20. Don't wear a hoodie.
Yes.
You know, get a nice cardigan or
Yeah,
v-neck or
it's
something.
knowing the uniform.
polo.
It's
Yeah,
knowing,
knowing
the
the
uniform,
uniform.
of the part you're
Right.
going in for. I think
Exactly.
that's important. If you're going in for a general, which I don't think people do that anymore,
Yeah.
but if you're going in for a general, then go ahead and dress however you want to dress.
Right.
But when you're going in for a role or going for a commercial, you really need to go in uniform.
Yes.
You need to, you know, if you're a nurse, look like a nurse. You don't
Right.
have to wear the costume, but you should give the flavor
Yep.
that you are a nurse. That if we see you in the street, we'd be able to say that's a nurse.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, and I think it's important in knowing what you sell to be able to understand that it's not personal. That you may not be a prude.
That's
But
right.
if you
Yes,
sell
absolutely.
prude on
That's
if you
right.
sell prude on camera, sell that puppy and make your money for your house.
Right. Absolutely.
You know to know that.
Yes, I play a lot of uptight people, a lot of
So-
uptight characters, and that's really not who I am. But I play it all day
And
long.
I was the drug addict, and
Yeah.
I don't even do drugs.
Exactly.
And the hooker.
Yeah.
Who thought? But yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
It's a job, and you
Yeah.
have to respect how people see you. And if you don't like how they see you, then you have to change.
Yes, you do.
You have to
Adjust
do some,
your look.
Yeah, you have to reinvent yourself in a way that when you go in, this is how I want them to see me, and so I am dressing
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
I cannot I cannot expect you to see something in me that I don't see in myself.
Right.
So that's the rant for today.
Yeah, you're good. You got on it. You
That's
got
the
on
rant
it.
for today. So I want to talk about you as an actor now.
Okay.
First of all, do you have a reference book that you go back to regularly, like The Artist's Way, something that
Respect
as an
for
artist?
acting.
Okay.
Yeah, Respect for Acting, Uta Hagen. I still go back to it. I use a lot of her exercises for myself and teaching as well, just because I think they're the best. And yet now I've done a lot more Meisner. I never studied with Meisner, but I'm doing that technique because I think being and living in the moment is the tone of all work now. So very, very real. So that's why I called it Keep It Real Acting.
I love it.
Yeah.
I studied with Roy London for 9 years, and Roy's biggest thing was to make the actor pick a vegetable or fruit. You become that, you're selling that. You're not selling a salad, you're selling that item.
Right.
And you be the best at selling that item, going back to your flavor. And then when you sell it in such a way that no one can deny it, they will want that vegetable chopped, sliced,
Right, exactly.
barbecued.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yes.
I had Brad Pitt in my class, Sharon Stone was in my class. I mean, they really, you know, and I'm a big believer of you may admire other actors, but you have to find your uniqueness.
Yes,
What
absolutely.
makes you special.
Absolutely.
And not and because I think a lot of young actors do this. They don't like what they sell. They want to sell what somebody else sells. You know, we want to be, why can't I be the tall leggy model? Why do I have to be the short Latin girl? Why can't I be? And what I learned through Roy was that nobody could do me like I could do, which
That's
is what
right.
you had said earlier. No one does you like you.
Right.
And if you take your bad, your good, your ugly, your fantabulous, and you bring it,
Yep.
no one can deny you.
Nope.
And I'm a big believer that nobody can take your shine.
That's true.
Nobody can copy your shine.
That's true.
You know, so that as actors, we have to find what it is that makes us stand out.
It's critical. And you know, I wish we could just come to Hollywood, figure that out, and go. But it takes a little time. It takes a little time to
sometimes
figure out what it is.
It takes people outside of you, because I think that's a hard.
Yeah, helping you, guide you.
I think that's one of the areas where I don't know that you can do it yourself unless you're so
No.
in tune.
No, because I don't think we can be objective.
No,
You know,
no.
we can't be objective because this tells a story to the industry. You know, just boom. And that's the thing about commercials is they're so quick. Boom, you have maybe a couple seconds on screen. The rest of it, they're showing the hamburger or whatever. You know, boom, you have to be identifiable as a type instantly. So, and everybody is, just have to figure out what that is. And yes, get some help. We have an amazing guy who teaches the castable actor, and it's about your brand, your type, your marketability. And he has a great eye, and he helps move you into that place where, you know, you're
And
gonna
that's
book.
it. You have to have somebody who can see you, who not
Yeah.
only has a great eye, but they have an instinct about
Yeah.
what you sell.
Yeah.
You know, that they're in tune with, oh, I see what you sell.
Yeah.
And that you trust them.
Yes.
You have to trust them,
Yes, you do.
because
Yeah.
they could tell you, they could give you what will make you $1 million, but if you don't trust them,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
No.
So
There has to be a bit of a surrender.
yes.
Yep.
When you hear common sense, what does that?
Okay.
What
yes,
comes to
you know,
mind?
when I get a script or an audition for something, I have to I try not to make up stuff. What's here on the page? What makes sense here for this person doing this thing? So that's common sense. I try to use my gut when I go in the room. I get the feel, the vibe. This is a room I'm not, necessarily gonna be. You can tell. I button a lot. I throw out.
Tell us what button.
Okay, button is
buttoning
the next thing you would say after the last scripted line. It's just keep the life going with a short little something.
Now, do you do that for commercials and
Yes.
theatrical?
Yes, I do. And every once in a while, theatrically, they'll say, "Yeah, don't add anything." Okay, I won't, but I sure would like to. It'll make it better. But I honor the whatever they say. But buttons, in my mind, buttons book jobs. So commercially, I always button, and that's just common sense.
That is common sense. What do you do when you're told no?
Well, like for example, every once in a while they'll say, "Don't add anything. Don't button or don't add anything at the end." And I feel like that's a little bit of a no. But I'm like, okay, I did one before, so hopefully you'll send that one. And I always feel like the director and the client, they kind of want to see it. But that's okay. I'll do one without. And so I feel like no doesn't really crush me like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't crush me at all, actually. I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just a shift. Just do this. As far as you saying, like, no, I didn't get the job.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
I like that. No, I like that. It's just, everybody has a different way they process no.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest part for me still is not hearing. You don't hear yes, you don't hear no, you don't hear. You just don't hear.
You're in limbo.
Yeah. I mean, even if you're on an avail, which is, or a pin, and you're waiting, that's hard. It's very challenging for me to not, pick up the phone and go, anything, anything, anything. But even not hearing anything, no pin, no avail, nothing. That's it's just I just wish they would just say, we went a different way. Loved your work. That would be so great. But we don't get that. That is not what this. That is not in my job description.
Yes. Yes.
Unfortunately.
What is your pet peeve as an actor?
I think it goes back to when people aren't prepared and they don't listen. I mean, as far as going in with another actor, especially commercially, you don't hardly ever go in with another actor theatrically. But commercially, when they don't listen, and they, I feel like they blow it for me. When they don't listen and they haven't taken the direction, they didn't hear the group explanation, they were talking to a friend in the lobby. I think it's really, it's irritating. Just listen, do your work. What else? Pet peeves? Not hearing.
So let's talk about the audition process and when
Yeah.
you're in the lobby waiting,
Oh,
or
yeah.
in the reception room.
I'm working. I'm on my phone. It looks like I'm on my phone, but I'm making choices on my app. First call or second call. If it's a callback, I'm still making choices. I do a lot of things like I'll Google, you know, if it takes place in a airport, I'm gonna Google airports so that I can get some things that I might say in an airport. Do you know what I'm saying?
To stir your
Yeah,
brain.
to stir my
Yes.
brain. I call it brainstorming, literally. But,
Yes.
I start to, just think about things that other people might say, things I might see, just to get me in that space. So I do that a lot. I try not to talk to people. One, it's not my social time. It's a job interview. So I'd rather be in a good space. So I usually move away from people. I hate those offices where they make you slide down the bench. I don't like that. I usually get up and walk away and
That's
just
good.
know where I am. But
Take
yeah.
care of yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you can't be cordial and pleasant, because I think that's important too. But it's not the time to catch up. Set a date for coffee with somebody, because what happens is everything that you prepared and everything that you worked on can just go right out the window, especially if they say something that upsets you, or they, say they just booked something, or, I've had people literally say, "Hey, did you get that job?" And I did, and I don't want to say yeah, because then that's, you know what I mean? It's just not the time to catch up, in my opinion. I feel like it is a job interview. There is money on the line, and I'd rather be really solid and prepared before I go in.
Yes. And you also have to be careful about the mind games.
Yes, there's
that
mind
actors
games.
can.
Absolutely.
Early on in my career, I remember going to Lorimar to audition for a part, and there was so much ruckus in the waiting area of the actors bitching and complaining about, oh, here's another maid. And so I took that, by the time I walked into the room, I was revved up, like, and then the woman said, well, can you do an accent? I already have an accent. Well, the person who was doing all the rebel rousing outside
Probably booked the job.
job. And had the audacity to call and say, "Oh my God, I got the job!"
Wow.
And what I walked away from at that moment was to step away in auditions, to go into a corner, do my work, and deliver the goods.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I was playing the maid. It didn't matter if I was playing the hooker. It didn't matter if I was playing the
Right.
drug dealer, the drug addict, whatever it was, to give it my best.
Yep.
To be of excellence, because what I learned then was that someone was going to book the job.
Yep.
So you could sit and complain and whine
Right.
and do, I'm
Right.
being playing this part again. Or you can say, you know what? I am going to be the best one that walks in the room.
Yeah. And do what you love to do. And, oh, by the way, get paid as well. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And residuals.
Yeah.
And residuals.
Yeah.
So
These are my favorite words to say.
I booked it. I love that.
My favorite.
I love that.
Yeah.
How do you replenish your well, your creative well?
I really love to travel. I love to get away. And I usually give myself 2 to 3 times during the year. I mean, like it's usually slow over Christmas, 4th of July, and maybe in August, or June, July. So I try to plan trips to go. I have to get out of town. And I have to get out of town like on the weekends too. Just get away. Because if I'm just sitting in front of the computer or just doing stuff, I'm not sourcing myself. I love to hike. I love nature. I love to, the other day I went tubing, inner tubing down the snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to go with me. I'm like, do you want to go tubing? They're like, no, not really. I'm like, it'll be fun.
I did not know this about you,
Oh
Judy.
my God. I like to trampoline.
Oh,
I like to go
now
to
that
those
would be fun.
Sky Zone places and jump.
Nice.
Anything, where it's a little on the, I guess I'm a big kid.
Yeah, I
guess I
love
am.
that. But that's necessary.
It is for me.
Do
Yeah.
you have a favorite place to go to to meditate or just get a little bit of time before you have a busy day? Or
I meditate every morning.
Okay.
I meditate every morning just to set me right, because I really do believe that I am here just to be of service, that everything that I've been given and gifted with is really to be served for others. So I have to get that in check, otherwise my ego's running the show, and that's never good. And I hike, so I do I walk up Fryman to the top, but there's a little bench up there.
I love that.
And it's it resets me, and I do that once a week.
I have to tell you a Fryman story real quick. Because I used to walk to the top of Fryman and then turn back around because I was so afraid of heights. Petrified of heights.
Where is it high?
To me, it was high. To me, girl, I'm from
Okay.
New York.
Oh,
I'm from
okay.
the street.
All right.
I don't know
Woo!
height.
I think it's 400 foot elevation.
Well, that's 375 feet too much for me. So I would go walking up with friends and
Yeah.
then get to not even to the bench,
Okay.
and just go, oh, okay, we're done. We'll go back. And one day I went by myself and I decided I'm going to find out what's on the other end. And I was scared. Just even talking about my hands started sweating. And I had to started speaking to myself.
Wow.
God did not give me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I almost peed on myself. I finally got to the bottom of it, and I felt so victorious about that walk.
Yeah.
And I did it 3 days in a row.
Wow.
And each day, I felt that fear at the same place and had to keep. God didn't give me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I just kept getting there, and that that canyon actually has been one of the best learning places for me, because when I was doing stand-up, I would go and say hello to everybody on that canyon. And
that's a great
for a
thing.
year, my whole thing was say hello and don't worry about how they answer you back. So my purpose was just to say hello, because as actors, we so want to be validated.
Right.
And in doing stand-up, where you become a laugh whore. You want that laugh. Oh, you're not laughing. Oh, what's wrong?
Right.
Or you're too busy taking the temperature of the room.
Yes.
and you don't go in as the thermostat, you go in as the thermometer.
Right.
So that canyon was crucial for me.
That's great.
To learn those little things, to walk through something where you're afraid of,
Yes,
and remind
absolutely.
yourself, wait a minute, that wasn't instilled in me. That's not how the Creator made me. And also, I'm gonna be of service to you, whether you reciprocate or not, whether you appreciate it or acknowledge it or
Right.
not.
Right.
Because I think as actors, we are so needy.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and that and that causes all kinds of
It does.
pain and
does.
suffering, and you become an addict, and then
Because nobody can really give you the adulation that because I think it's a bottomless pit, actors. So you have to give it to yourself and find ways to be satisfied with what you're doing. You
And
have to
know
find ways.
why you're doing.
Yes.
Why are you acting?
Right. Because you love it and you have to do it. To me, that's the only thing. If you love it and you have to do it, then go do it and enjoy it, and the rewards will come. If they're,
And that should be the reward.
the reward is that. Yes,
that you
exactly.
get to do what you love. How many people
Exactly.
don't get to do that?
Exactly.
So, you said Fryman, and I had all these.
Yeah.
It
No,
was,
it's
it,
good.
yeah, it was pretty.
No, I mean, I hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, which is 19,500 feet. And I often use that. Well, if I can do that,
Yes.
I can go to this audition.
Yes.
I can memorize
yes,
these lines.
This is nothing.
This is nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, that was
Girl, you're my hero.
hard.
Speaking of heroes, who are your heroes in the business?
I mean, I love Flo. I mean, I just think, what she's created for in that character is
Flo does the progressive commercial.
I mean,
yes.
she's a master. She does it, and I know her, and she is happy to do all the things they put her through. And sometimes she's riding Harley, sometimes she's swimming in yuck, and she does all these things. She gets water pies in the face. And I love Meryl Streep. I mean, Meryl Streep is, can do no wrong in my eyes, ever. So, those are two of my faves.
What is a role that you would love to do as an actor?
There isn't much that I wouldn't love to do. Really, seriously, every role presents its. Every role presents its challenges, and I can find myself in it. But think then it's a play. I'm really far from plays nowadays. I haven't picked up a play in a long time, which is not good. But I did Virginia Woolf in college. I would always love to do that now at the right age.
This would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great for you.
Martha.
Let's see you do it.
Yeah.
As we're coming to a close,
Yes.
what is a common sense tip that you could give an actor coming to Los Angeles?
Find I think what we were talking about. Find a place that you can call home, a studio, come to Keep It Real, or find a place that supports you and can keep you going till you start. And I feel like that's kind of I'm a mama bird, and I'm sending the little birds out to their for their first flight, and it's really the best part of my day is when I get an email or a call or something from somebody, and they're like, I booked it.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's, don't just go and spend money and get some headshots, don't just go throw your money at. Find out where you can go to make some smart choices for a career, because this is a career. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
One last thing.
Yeah.
As because we didn't hit on this, but as a mother, an actress,
Yes.
and a entrepreneur, and
How
and
did
boss,
I juggle it?
How do you juggle it all?
Being a mom and having my son at 4 years old want to act was challenging, because then he had a career, and we had the same agent, and taking him to auditions and being on set with him. I remember he shot the Cool Whip commercial, which ran for 7 years, and I had to go shoot Friends, and I had to hire somebody to stay on the set with him. Um, I mean, and I had no family, no family. I had to really call in some favors from people and other moms and other parents, who had kids that age and kids in the business also. We just helped each other. I found a network.
Having that
I found a network.
that
Yeah,
support
yeah.
system,
Yeah.
crucial.
Yes. And I didn't really start my own business till he was in high school, because I felt that I needed to really be there for him, and be the mom and have dinner and in between booking jobs. But when I was working on The Odd Couple a couple years ago, he loved coming to the tapings, and he loved it. I absolutely enjoyed it thoroughly, and he's working now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
good.
awesome.
It's really good.
Thank you for watching Common Sense Mamita and enjoying Judy Kain. And please check out her website, keepitrealacting.com, and get her book, I Booked It.
It's good.